Hello sweets, welcome back to the kitchen, and today we'll be making the Momofuku Milk Mar birthday funfetti cake. If I can just take it up here and show you guys. Oof, I love the layers. I love how cute the layers look, and even though this is like a naked cake, it looks so great. I love the look of this Momofuku milk bar cake because it just looks very eye-catching even though it's so simple. And as you guys know, the Momofuku milk bar is ran by Christina Tolsis, and she make and develop most of their recipe, and this recipe is very much included. And I would say that you can go out there and buy the milk bar cookbook. I'm pretty sure there are copies of it out there. I have seen a few, but there are a lot of recipes on places like Pinterest, and this is where I get this recipe from. And I have to say that it is kind of, this is one of the most tedious recipe I have ever really come across. It's very special, very unique, and I have really never seen anything similar. So I guess brace yourself, prepare to be using plenty of baking soda, and then also plenty of vanilla extract, imitation clear vanilla extract to be exact, because Christina just loves her vanilla extract and baking soda. Like even the icing in this recipe has baking soda, but at the same time it has like citrus acid, which I just use lime juice or lemon juice. And it just works very well when it goes into the icing and it creates this kind of reaction with the baking soda. It just makes it so light and fluffy, and I just love it. I love the consistency of this. It's worth the work and it's worth the tedious. I think this is like the longest recipe I have to follow. And yeah, if you follow all the steps exactly, you will get it. You will get definitely a great, beautiful cake as I did, even though it's not perfect. I just love the way I did this. The only thing I did different is really with the crumble. If you guys recognize this crumble, it goes in between the layer and also on top. I have a lot of them on top, but according to the recipe, I'm supposed to add a two-third cup of this crumble in between the layers. So I thought that was just too much, so I sprinkle maybe about like a fourth cup, maybe even less than that for each layer, and I think that's just enough, and the rest I just sprinkle it on top. So you probably have a lot left over. I still have a lot of this left over, and maybe a little bit icing, but if you want to use all the icing, it's up to you. And also I use a cake ring in this with parchment paper, and I'll show you how to do that later in the video. And so really I really have no tip, because this is just one of those recipes where I'm just phased. It's so special and so different. There's really nothing anymore. So we're just gonna jump straight into making this. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the video. So sweets, we are at the assembly process of this Momofuku birthday cake. And as you guys can see, the cake we have here, I have cut them and layered them. This is actually a very good cake batter. It's amazingly moist, and it keeps its shape very well. And it has like this very nice covering on top that I think that would just give the cake like an extra kind of texture that I don't really know how to explain it, but I just think that the way the egg is whipped up and it creates this kind of meringue top is just something very good. And then we have a soak for it. We have like a milk soak, which is basically milk and also vanilla extract, which actually accompany the dryness of this cake. And then you also have a crumble topping. This crumble topping right here, it is kind of like the thing on top of a coffee cake or a cheesecake. Some cheesecake has a crumble topping, but it's easier to imagine a coffee cake. And at Momofuku, Christina actually uses these crumble to make these ball-shaped crumble. And I bet you guys can very much do this if you guys add a little bit more oil to the actual recipe when we're making the crumble. But I like it to remain dry like this so I can add it to the side of the cake and make it look more rustic. I just really love that look, and we can't wait for the frosting, of course. This frosting is so soft and so fluffy. I actually made the frosting and the crumble a day in advance, and they're still so good. They're still so nice and fluffy, and everything is just in order. So now we can assemble our cake, and we cannot not mention the cake ring for the cake to hold its shape. And we're going to be adding the cake and the filling and the layers and everything in here. And at Momofuku, Christina would add a clear acetate sheet to around the cake ring, but here I'm using parchment paper. You just add a little bit oil to the side of the cake ring and then line the parchment paper inside. I think that's less wasteful because I'm not a big fan of plastic. So we have everything here, so we're gonna go ahead and assemble the cake, and I hope you guys are ready because this cake is going to be able to last in the freezer for quite some time. So it's everything accessible, and so we're gonna get started. Alrighty guys, this cake is done, assembled, and now we're gonna go and stick it in the freezer. Instead of making the crumble balls that Christina Tosi has on her cake, I actually just sprinkle the crumbs around the border of this cake and then sprinkle some more sprinkles on top. These are rainbow sprinkles. And so now we're gonna go stick it in the freezer and let it set for 3 hours before we unmold it. And this cake actually does fare very well in the freezer. So if you guys want to, you guys can just freeze it up until you're ready to serve it. On the day of, just take it out of the freezer for 3 hours and let it defrost, and then you can serve it in the afternoon or something like that. And this works very well for birthday occasions because it is a birthday cake. Me myself, I've never tried the Momofuku milk bar cake, so this is gonna be something very surprising to me. And actually I have a lot of crumble that are leftovers and a little bit of icing as well. So this recipe does fare for most, so if you want to go wild with it, go wild with the icing and the crumbles. But anyway, and other than that, I don't really have any tips because Christina Tosi did a very good job at creating, developing this recipe that's so peculiar and unique. So now we're gonna go freeze it, and I'll see you guys back when we unmold it.